Alright. Go ahead and go live. Alright, hey, what's up, YouTube? Welcome to Play It Painted Live. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday evening. And here we go with another one of these. So, this may be a very short stream. I'm trying to keep them short these days. I've just been so busy, man. I've just been so busy. But we're doing what we can. Tonight, uh-oh, what happened there? There we go. Tonight we're going to be painting some Malifaux that has been kind of sitting around for a while, but it's not. The good news is it's nothing new. It's just I'm just painting a new set here. So what I'm painting tonight is I'm painting Cassandra, Felton, and another set of mechanical doves for the Colette crew. Because yeah, it's, I've had that Colette crew, the current Colette crew that I'm playing, I've had that since the beginning of M3, and it's time to give them an updated paint job. And when I do an updated paint job these days, I don't go back and repaint the original models, because that would make way too much sense, and that would be the most cost-efficient way to do it. But no, I go out and I physically buy new models and I paint them up. But that's because what I do with the old set is actually much more efficient, right? So what I do with the old set is I then sell the old set, and generally, not always, but generally make my money back, maybe even a little bit of profit on top of that. And I'm hoping that I can do that with this Colette crew this time around. Sell the old set and make my money back, or make a tiny bit of profit. Because what I'm planning on doing is I'm gonna roll some of that into my 2021 Extra Life campaign. So if you are interested in a Colette crew, stay tuned for online for my Colette crew, which will probably pop up on eBay for you to bid on. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're working on tonight. We're working on Cassandra, right? Cassandra Felton. There she is in all of her blondness. We're working on her and the M3 Colette crew. I'm wondering, maybe I just paint. I think I'm gonna paint a tiny little detail here. I'm gonna paint her hair tie black. Right, because she has blonde hair. It would make sense with her black and yellow outfit for her to have a black hair tie. So I'm gonna paint that in, right? And yeah, Wu-Tang forever. And I said that in like the whitest way possible. But yeah, you guys who have been watching this channel know I like to call everything Wu-Tang. And I always eventually paint my favorite stuff in the Wu-Tang colors. So that's what we're looking at here. Okay. Okay, so we painted in her hair tie black, and now we're going to shade her dress, and we're going to shade her dress in orange. And so I am going to apply an orange wash, if I can find an orange wash. I know I have plenty of orange wash because I bought it several times, and it's a matter of finding my orange wash. Okay. But yeah, that's the plan for tonight, folks. Gonna be working on this, and my hope is that this does not take terribly long. Because I want to go to bed, go to work tomorrow. So this orange is super duper light. So it should actually provide a pretty nice little shadow here. In fact, I'm gonna just dab that out. And if I want to see, how this is gonna look, I can test it out on a couple of my birds. Right, so I've got these mechanical doves that we could test this out on. Because that actually looks kind of good. Right? Kind of gives a nice little jet plume there. And then let's do that on this one too. Right, it just kind of blends really nice. There we go. And we'll just kind of work that in there. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So now let's go ahead and start on Cassandra's dress. Getting that shade in. And see, she has this nice little heart pendant around her neck. And we're going to use this to give her fun little cocktail dress some nice shade. I don't know if this is actually a cocktail dress, by the way. I'm just guessing. I think this is called a cocktail dress. Now, it probably was not called a cocktail dress contemporary with fake Malifaux history times. But I think my wife would call this she'd probably refer to this as a cocktail dress. So we're going to get this orange, and I'm going to get it to kind of spread out, right? I don't want any. She's always a 10. What's up, Nelson? Cassandra is always a 10. I'm a big Cassandra Felton fan. Loved her since basically Malifaux First Edition. I love her rules and her fluff. She's supposed to have this real southern charm to her, right? She's so she probably has a little bit of like the a little bit of a southern accent, right? So she's your typical southern belle, but she's actually quite smart. And she's great at what she does. She's the only person that they say could ever steal the spotlight from Colette herself. It would be Cassandra. Supposed to be one of the most beautiful women in all of Malifaux. And so, the whole blonde faking that's actually quite brilliant, and, southern charm. She reminds, the actress this reminds me of, that they're describing, sounds like would be Reese Witherspoon, right? Reese Witherspoon is an interesting actress because according to her own story, when she first tried to get acting jobs in Hollywood, they would not hire her because she was beautiful, right? She was a model, but her southern drawl was way too thick. They could not understand what she was saying. That's how thick her southern drawl was. And she actually had to take elocution lessons to learn how to speak. Really interesting. So, right, so we got a little bit of that orange there, and it's kind of nice because it's, as long as I don't let it pool too hard in spots, it's going to be quite nice. Right? It's a nice smooth, it makes a nice smooth look to this yellow and gives it shadow, and then we'll be able to build up from there. Okay, so there's that. Let's shade her hair a little bit. And I'm going to use this color here, Earth, for that. How'd the rest of your game go, Nelson? I know Jason fielded MODOK and Magneto and Quicksilver. So he had a Brotherhood list, but he also had MODOK in there, who's quite strong. Okay, so all that's drying. I'm going to add a little bit more shade to the weapon as well. Right, so we're going to use some of this Starship Filth. Placebo Pete! What's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Alright, so Cassandra back in action. I did announce earlier, before you guys hopped on, that I will be, because I am painting a new Colette crew, I will be auctioning off the old Colette crew that I have for M3. So if you like that crew, you may have seen it a few times, and you want to own that crew, well, go ahead and bid for it, and know that your the proceedings will go to my Extra Life campaign. So you'll be helping out some kids in the process, and you could score yourself a fun little Colette crew for Malifaux. Right? And who wouldn't want to play the crew that I griefed Nelson with? I mean, that's value right there as far as I'm concerned. If you were traumatized by that crew, well, now is your chance. You can own that crew. It could be yours. I'm just saying, that could be all you, if you so chose. But yeah, that is gonna probably be my only online auction this year, is just for that Colette crew. That is way too much wash there, so we're gonna clear some of that out. It was down to a final roll, and I killed every other character other than Quicksilver. He discovered the Senator first turn and ran away with it. Scored him like 14 points. Wow. Wow. So if it was down to a final roll, it sounds to me like the final roll did not break in your favor. Because this is Nelson rolling against Jason. And, you know, we've seen that. We know how Jason rolls. and we know how Nelson rolls. So I'm that is not a personal knock on you, as you know. It's just I'm just acknowledging how those roll-offs tend to break. So sound like an exciting game anyway. That's good. Yeah, for me, my MCP game today was a really short game. Really short game against Sean, which is cool. He was trying out X-Force, and I fielded Syndicate against this X-Force, and it was a fun game. Very short, though. All right. How do I do this cobblestone? No, I rolled 8 dice, scored 2 hits, and Jason rolled his perfect defense on Toad with 3 health. Yeah, sounds about right. Right? Yeah, it did not break in your favor. Right? Statistically, we know that that should have broken in your favor. 8 dice against 3 dice. And he rolled more defense than you rolled offense. The game is not designed to be played like it is one of the frustrating things for me about MCP. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy MCP, you guys know that. But the dice system is pretty swing. You gotta admit, it's a pretty like that's just rough, dude. Okay? The odds are saying, okay, so you're rolling 8 dice, okay? There is a 5 for hits. You have a 5 in 8 chance. So rolling average would have been 5 hits, and he's rolling defense dice, okay? And defense dice, you have on the defense die, you have a shield, a wild, and a crit. 3. Let's call it 4. Let's call it 4 out of 8 chance that you roll defense. So if he's rolling 3 defense dice, and if he rolls average, let's call it 2. He gets 2 defense to your 5 hits. You should have done 3 damage to him. That's if both of you rolled average. And again, that's why this game. It's one of the most frustrating parts of MCP to me, is that the dice math makes sense in your head, but when you see it played out in reality, you're like, what? Why? You know? He played it right. He did it. Yeah. I mean, he played for the strat, which is good. But, yeah. I mean, I know that, like, when I do my all webbed up 9 die attack on people with Amazing Peter, I'll do, right? It's the most efficient thing you can do. If you have 5 power with Amazing Peter, you spend 2 power for the web swing, then you play all webbed up, you hit a bunch of people with slow, and you still have your 2 actions. So then you roll, so that the first attack you throw 9 dice. The second attack you throw 7 dice. Okay? So just again, doing the math there, you should score 5.5, or 6 hits on the first attack. On the second attack, you should score 4.5 or 5 hits. So you should score 11 hits on a turn where Peter Parker is playing. Amazing Peter Parker is playing all webbed up. Now my average when I throw 9 dice using that setup, that exact setup and that attack, my average is 2 hits. Average. I have never, and I mean never, I have never had that spike. Ever. So I don't know what to make of that. Yeah, even Jason said he rolled mostly par at 375. It was like, imagine you roll 24 dice. Yeah. Right. It's just weird. You know what I attribute that to? I just think D8 is a very unsatisfying dice to roll compared to a D6. So I know, I have no actual basis for this argument, but I'm going to make it anyway. So screw you, internet. But my theory is that because D8 is much more unsatisfying to roll versus D6, that the math does not play out ever, and it's just not as cool. It's really kind of like rolling the symbols is unsatisfying to me. It's just weird. I don't know. But that does frustrate that does really frustrate me, like the um seeing the dice math go super south like that. And people, like, I know when I play against you, Nelson, that my dice spike high. You're the you're the only player you're the only player that I can run into in MCP where my dice will regularly spike high against you. Right? My dice spike low against everybody else, but they spike high against you. So I'm like, okay, I can try to when you throw like big attacks at me, I'm like, okay, like for example, the many games of X Force that we had. Hey, what's up, Shadowcat? Where where Cable has got great position and he decides to attack, right? And I'm like, oh no, here comes 7, 8 dice from Cable, and it'll end up being 2 hits, and I'll block both, right? And you'll do like all the actions with Cable and net, like 1 damage. What's up, Chris? And I'll walk out of that game going, I don't think Cable's very good because when Nelson fields Cable, he cannot hit. Like he throws all kinds of dice into it, right? He stacks the odds the way you're supposed to and cannot land a decent shot with Cable. And I just go around and I go, oh yeah, Cable. He's not gonna hit me because it's Nelson. But I face anybody else playing Cable, and I'm like, oh my god, incinerate, and I'm dying every turn. Just when Nelson does it, it's like, I'm gonna survive this. That's Nelson's Cable, not to be confused with regular Cable. uh, Chris Lodiger walked over, picked up the same dice, rolled 3 crits, 3 hits, 1 defense, and a blank. Right. Nate and Domino are a fantastic team. Agree. So Shadowcat, you've been playing you've been playing much MCP? It is kind of the rage over here as well, which I have been very reluctant about because of what I'm bitching about right now, which is the dice swinginess of the game, right? I bitch about that, but yeah, telling you it's a technique dice rolling, you don't own it. I mean, we better listen to Chris. Chris did win the last tournament for MCP, beating like 3 power gamers throughout the day. So, right, I'm gonna take what Chris says seriously. You just read the graphic novel. Well, it's a very fun game. I would recommend it. I think MCP hits a lot of, we'll call it popular notes amongst miniature gamers. It hits a lot of popular notes. Am I saying it's the best game made? No, absolutely not. Far from it, in fact. It's an expensive game. It's but not as expensive as 40K. It's not a balanced game. Not totally balanced, but way better balanced than 40K. It's it's not the most convenient game, but way more convenient than 40K. Are you sensing a theme? That's kind of where I'm going with MCP. It hits a lot of common notes, and everybody pretty much, even if you don't like Marvel, it's so ubiquitous that everybody knows that IP, and in fact, more people know that IP than 40K. Therefore, it's gonna get popular, right? So I don't know. Yeah, you didn't play MCP. You never ruined your shelves. Yeah, I just with MCP there were a couple. The main reasons for me jumping into MCP was a I wanted another I wanted a game that me and Jay could play that we would both agree to play. I'm not playing Kill Team with him. He's not playing Malifaux with me. Okay, let's play MCP, right? Um, let's so we can agree on that. And it's I gotta play something sort of popular, right? Guild Ball was the last sort of pervasive game that I got into. You can say that Malifaux is pervasive and that there's a lot of people who play it, and that's absolutely true. But in my opinion, most of the people playing Malifaux are either um, either the competitive people who make Malifaux their life, or the people who play it at home with a smaller group. Right, so it's harder to get like casual, organized play around Malifaux. I just think I think in general, like it it's really trying to force you into like an all or none situation. Um, love the game, love the game. That's why I'm painting it tonight. But yeah, I feel like it's so deep that I feel like the creators have kind of lost sight of how real life works. I remember saying that about some of the last Ninja Division games that came out, that it was like, yeah, they want you to play, 6 rounds of Ninja All Stars with 8 models per side, and I'm like, you have any idea how long that takes? If you want to enjoy your game, and I told Ninja Division this, I'm like, if you want people to enjoy your game, like quit acting like it's their life, cut all the point values in half, and make people play half the amount of models that they're playing, right? And I feel like Malifaux could use that. Is it fantastic that you have 144 viable playstyles in Malifaux? And I mean that. Keyword plus master swaps. That's 100, roughly speaking. It's actually a little bit more, but it's 144 different playstyles. Is it cool? Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. Everyone thinks more game is better in theory. Yeah, why not? But when it comes down to it, you know, some of us have bills to pay and children to come home to. Um, some of us have like intensive jobs. Many of us want to play different miniature games. It's we're just collectors, and we love Malifaux, but she doesn't get all of us. She didn't get all of my miniature hobby time. Okay. And the people who do that for 40K, I don't know. They feel kind of lost to me too. It's like, I get it, because you got to have, because it used to be my life, back when I played 40K. Also, I'll point out that it was really the only game in town, so at least I had an excuse. It was like, well, there literally is no other miniature game, so you play that. Um, let's see. I have gotten into Pathfinder and BattleTech. Perverted, don't forget. I I'm missing some context. I'm missing some context, but perverted, sure, why not? Yeah. Okay. Yes. But yeah, I mean, Malifaux, fantastic game. Really is. Really enjoy Malifaux. Love painting it. Love painting it. We'll never stop painting it, right? It's like Infinity. We'll always paint Infinity. We'll probably never like the game, but we'll always paint Infinity. Game of Thrones, yeah, Song of Ice and Fire players. Those players next to us were like, MCP seems easy to draft and play. It is. MCP has a lot. It just, as a mainstream game, and I did a whole stream on that before, kind of explaining why I think it's got a lot of mainstream appeal. Could at some point, in my opinion, could dethrone 40K. I really do think that. I think it could dethrone 40K, but I think it in order for it to dethrone 40K, it's really got to diversify the modes of play, right? The multiplayer scenarios are great. You just don't see enough of them. And then you have to have, in my opinion, you got to have like some geek and sundry shit show up, and they're like, "We're gonna play MCP," and have professional voice actors do that shit, and have all these like weird fanboys that show up to watch people play MCP. I'm not talking about the War Machine days when. Do you remember when War Machine, when the highly competitive events at War Machine used to get broadcast like sport? You know what I mean? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about take some MCP games and like make like if Henry Cavill played MCP, he'd probably lose his job at DC as Superman for one. He probably, Henry Cavill probably does play MCP, and he just won't admit it. He likes money from from DC, so he probably wait. You're going through the process of explaining the thing about the minis you are painting, so I added that I'm a pervert. Oh yeah, sure, sure. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. I like painting this. I like painting these style models much more than like faceless and nameless buff guys ad nauseum, right? That's me. Yeah, we'll paint this all day, as opposed to the other. uh, and to stop being jerks to the amateurs. Yeah, for sure. You gotta MCP. That is the danger that we're seeing with MCP though. Is that the competitive scene? It's got all the War Machine and Guild Ball. I'll call out my own community and Guild Ball holdouts. All got in the line at MCP and started to power game the shit out of it. And they're like, you know what, bro? Okoye all day, bro. Yeah, here's what you do, okay? Take you take Doctor Strange with the Soul Stone, guard it with the Koye, and yeah, it's the same shit in the top tier stuff. It's the same shit. But see, that's gonna get stale, and luckily the designers know that. They know that. They're War Machine designers. They know that their model will get stale, and they have to keep it fresh with errata and stuff like that. And they have to creep power a little bit, right? So when Convocation makes it to the rest of us, that it's going to feel very strong. I feel like Midnight Suns, same thing. They're going to feel very, very strong. Um, And then it'll get errated, and then there will be another affiliation that everyone thinks is dope, and that's just right. That's how that's gonna go down, basically. Okay, well, let's continue on here. Uh, let's yeah, playing game are cool, okay? Yeah, but I do think like yeah, MCP. It would be cool to see um kind of like an ultra light version of the game for kids my son age, like my 8-year-old. I think they should do that. I think they should invest in that, right? So like my kid wants to play Deadpool and Carnage and you know and Venom. Those are characters he likes, and just have a format of the game that he's gonna want to play. He'll want to play the multiplayer scenarios. He'll want to play that because that's cool. He could play it like the separation anxiety would be cool for my son. He would want to play that. Right? And you just have people that host those kinds of things every weekend, and then you have your regular tournament circuit, and you let the tournament circuit people do their tournament circuit thing, but you have enough for the casual people to want to show up like every week and play something. I think that would be cool, right? If the clubs, if the local gaming clubs and that kind of thing kind of had something for everybody there, because I do think that MCP can be enjoyed, in both of those manners. I am still a little shocked that people like treat it like such a hardcore competitive game. I just don't like what? This, I mean, did you not have you not seen the dice swing, right? I just what? Why is that? Why did you make it such a competitive game? It's not. It's not. Oh wow, Blade gets free. Oh, that's right. Blade is pretty. Blade is just the model is cool. I want to paint it. I'm surprised no one actually painted Tony Stark in his stealth armor. Oh, see, you're giving Nelson ideas, Shadow Cat. So Nelson's gonna show up and say, "Can you paint this in stealth armor?" He's gonna do it. So you'll probably see me doing it. Yeah. I'll 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 try to stream it. It'll be very experimental. I'll screw up multiple times trying to get the look correct. I'm using sun yellow or moon yellow. I think I need to switch to moon yellow. But yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. It's, what game I also really like? Batman. Also, still really like Batman. Still got a lot of love for Batman game. It's hilarious. I felt bad for Sean because he jumped into it and he did not get the refresher on like, oh, you got to use the BMG app and the cards are different now, and you know you got to stay on top of the objective deck. You bought 2 sets of the Hulkbuster, so I have 4. That's cool, man. Uh, I look forward to that. It'll be fun. Woo. My wife would be pissed right now seeing this model. Because she would go, what blonde would be caught dead wearing a yellow dress? That's what she would say. And she's right. In the real world, what blonde would wear a yellow dress? But hey, this is my special Wu-Tang themed Colette crew. So you guys remember the scheme markers I made for this crew a few months back, right? And the idea was going to have a Wu-Tang themed Colette crew. So now I'm just painting it out. Why not? I had some free time in the painting schedule that I was not planning on having, so this kind of works out. I like it when yellow works out really well though, because it looks fantastic. If you treat yellow right, it looks fantastic. Moon Knight, okay. I just want to run Moon Knight in Web Warriors. I don't think he's a staple in Web Warriors, but when I want like cheap, when I want another, like if I want to go super wide with them, and there's going to be cases uh, where Gwen is a bit of a liability, or if I don't need to run Felicia, that's who Moon Knight would come in for. What am I saying? I love Felicia too much, man. Felicia, today I played, so I played Syndicate. Okay, so Syndicate 17th Threat. So it was Kingpin, Felicia, Mysterio, Lizard, and Venom. Okay, into X-Force. And the people that did the most to flip the state of the game was Felicia and Mysterio. Mysterio just had Wolverine's number all day long, and that was pretty rough. And then Felicia did Felicia things, right? She stole from, Sean was good to daze her pretty early, and then she came back. She got it. She had her little window activation where she walked up, pickpocketed Cable, and then uh, staggered Domino, and then walked over to an open objective and flipped it. Right? That changes a lot of things in one activation. Um, so that was super cool. And that's why you take Felicia. She's capable of super cool stuff. I think what they are going to nerf her, but I think what they're going to do is my theory is they're going to make the stagger on her spender require a wild, or maybe even require a wild and a crit. Because that spender is so strong. It only does 1 damage if it hits, but you get a short move off of a wild, and you get the auto stagger. Should I do little scratches in that blade? I wonder if I can make the scratches fine enough. Let's see. And what, I guess, what direction would the scratches go? They'd go this way, huh? They go that way. Right, as long as they're moving straight, that's all that really matters. Whoa. Okay, I just screwed that up, but it's okay. There we go. There we go. No scratches on that blade there. Okay. Now it'll look better on the other side when I do it on the other side. So scratches on this blade. Okay. Cool. There we go. I don't know how that looks on camera. It looks pretty good in real life. It looks pretty good. Okay. All right. So next thing I can do, let's go ahead and knock out the shade in the bases. Whoa, sorry guys. I need to just reinforce the color of the hat. Okay. You want the next cool black available at CQ? The really, really versatile color is, this is what I recommend. If you can find it. It's another copy of it will show up there because I bought this copy. So rubber black is fantastic. Fantastic. Yes, yeah, you're right, Shadowcat. In fact, the last version of Cassandra that I painted, she is in a green dress, actually. Uh-oh, my son threatening to come in during a stream. Don't do it. Good night, son. What? Good night. I guess he's up for a late night because we got daylight savings time anyway, so he probably thinks it's a great night to stay up. My son. Yeah, my wife is gonna go, why is she wearing a yellow dress? That's what she'll say. She's blonde. But she has to match the Wu-Tangness of the rest of the crew. I don't know. I mean, she's Cassandra. She'll make it work. Alright, so we'll get this. Get that drying. But yeah, this is pretty simple stuff. No, I'm not making the sword jade. It's supposed to just be a regular steel clockwork sword. It's no longer called a clockwork sword. Now it's just a saber. I could give it a greenish tone. If you think that might be cool, I might do that. A little smoke there. But yeah, there's really not much left to do on these. There's like a deck of cards right here. This bird is doing like a little flourish through a deck of cards. It's just weird looking. Okay. Yeah. Just like the bird is revealed a whole hand of cards. Okay. And then next I need to do is I need a blonde highlight for her hair. I believe I literally have that color, blonde highlight, somewhere in here. There it is. At least the yellow and black color scheme is pretty easy to do, and it looks super clean. But yeah, I'm gonna paint my way through this crew and then auction off the previous one. There you go. And I think I can even push the yellow up just a hair more, the yellow of the dress. Let's push that up just a hair more. Or do you think I should just stay with that super warm? I don't know. Because I could go really bright some parts of the dress. Let's try kind of brightening up this part. There you go. Just so you can kind of see the shading a little bit better. Right. We'll get this, treat this like an edge highlight here. There you go. Yeah, that yellow is looking pretty nice. Right. So now you can see, right, I'm attacking the shading of the yellow. It's like super smooth looking. The black, okay. You're probably right. I haven't gone back really and done anything in there other than block it up, so you are probably right. Let's have a look. Okay. Trying to see here. Maybe you can see on camera. Oh, okay. It looks like maybe this line right here, this edge line right here is jagged and it needs to be filled in. Right? Like so. Right? I gotta clean up that. I gotta clean up uh, that line, that edge right here. And that's kind of hard to do with a camera between me and. But maybe I can get this too. What do I do with that color? Okay. See if I can get this line to clean up right here. Okay. And on this side. It's like, man, trying to get that right, get that really tight area there correct is a little tricky. It's like sometimes I'm over the line, sometimes I'm under the line. Part of that is just the line itself on the sculpt seems to be a little tough to follow sometimes. See if I can. Right. Force the bloomer line up a little bit. Oh. Oh, now I'm over again. Dang it. Ah. Okay, this is probably the safer way to do it, right? Cut the whole thing black like that. Give that a second to dry. And then recut that edge line. It's really tough. Sometimes she's gone from thong to granny panties. What is it gonna be? Thong or granny panties? And it's not letting me. I just don't have the cleanest line here to win the debate either way. Actually, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's looking okay. I'm gonna let that dry and then I'll see how I feel about it. All right. Uh, but we are almost ready to wrap this up. So let me get the black line on it. Let's see how this does. So I'm using this as a substitute for Vallejo model color black, and let's see how this is the AK 3rd gen black, and from what I can tell, this dries pretty flat, so this may actually be a contender for Vallejo model color black, which is, from what I've seen and from what I've used, is the flattest black available in a miniature painting line. Not Vallejo, don't be confused, not Vallejo game color black, because Vallejo game color black is actually quite shiny, but Vallejo model color black is super, super flat, which is why I like to use it for the base like that. She's pretty great. I'm not sure if I'm playing Ringer in Henchman Hardcore this weekend, I might play Cassandra. She's not nearly as good as Carlos, though. I feel like for the 8 points, Carlos is way better. Cassandra can be situationally better because of her upstage ability, but in Henchman Hardcore, you're probably not going to have something that's quite worth doing that to. Right, and I really like Butterfly Jump on Carlos. But looking forward to playing some Henchman Hardcore. Be good. Just need to make it through another week of work. You're out? Alright, thanks for popping in, Shadowcat. Have a good one. Alright, and last but not least, but yeah, I have a whole other performer keyword that I can put together and paint and have a brand new performer keyword. And can auction off my other one and raise some money for kids. That's, pretty good. Yeah, I'll let that dry. But yeah, I can already tell it should dry pretty flat, right? Looks pretty good. Little Cassandra here. looking pretty good. She'll be able to join her boss, Colette. And then I've got some more models to paint in the Wu-Tang style. Yeah, pretty good stuff all around. Alright guys, so we'll call it here. Yeah, I mean, really not much to report here, just the Cassandra and some doves. So, going to be working our way through the performer lineup. And yeah, that is it. That is going to do it for this stream. I want to thank everyone for watching. Have a good one, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.